Hello, movie nerds, and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, the podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we are going to talk about an oldie, but a really goodie. We are going to talk about Dr. Foster. Now, this one is an older one, like I was saying. This is one that I completely missed when it was actually airing, and I'm kind of happy that I did. So Dr. Foster, the first season came out in 2015, and I believe that the second season came out in 2017. I completely missed it. I will say normally I am a lot more like in the know or in the loop on television series and drama series that come out of the BBC, which is where Dr. Foster comes from. I thoroughly enjoy the BBC the majority of the time because they're the ones that do pretty frequently, more of the historical drama series that I love. So I'm sure that the reason why I missed Dr. Foster is because I was probably watching like North and South or whatever other historical drama the BBC dropped around that time. I am certain that has to be what happened. So similar to the Turkish television series that I ended up finding because someone played a clip on Instagram, that is exactly how I found Dr. Foster. Someone on Instagram dropped like this tiny little clip from one of the episodes, and I was immediately intrigued and somewhat horrified that there was a BBC, thriller drama series that had come out that I had missed, because the BBC does really good like crime dramas. That's not what Dr. Foster is, but they do really good like crime drama series quite a lot. I ended up watching Dr. Foster both of the seasons in like 2 days, which for anyone that is familiar with shows coming out of the BBC or shows, that are outside of the United States, they typically, the BBC specifically, tends to run drama series and thriller series and crime series that are only about 5 or 6 episodes a piece. So I know like a ton of people in the United States are complaining about how our television series have changed quite a bit. We used to have like 24 episodes a season. Now we're down to like 8 to 10, sometimes 12. But, I'm pretty used to watching shows from outside the US, and a lot of those run smaller seasons, and Dr. Foster is one of those. So running through Dr. Foster in a couple of days or a day is not outside the realm of possibility. So Dr. Foster, this might be mild spoilers by the by, because this series is almost 10 years old. So anyone who hasn't watched it, shame on you, like me. Shame on me for missing this. But Dr. Foster, for anyone who doesn't know, is a television series about a character named Gemma Foster, and she is a doctor in the UK, and she finds out kind of through suspicion, but also through kind of just checking on things, she finds out that her husband is having an affair with a much younger woman. So her and her husband are kind of in their 40s. He's having an affair with a woman who is like in her early 20s. And the show is basically about kind of what happens once she finds out that this is going on. Now, if that explanation sounds a little bit like womp, okay, whatever, cheating, that's not fun. No, you guys, no. This was the wildest ride I have ever been on in a drama series. I will say the only kind of slightly disappointing part to this series was how it ended. I will say, I don't think I was super disappointed in the ending, but it just didn't feel quite on the same note as the rest of the season. So when I first started watching, I kind of thought it was going to be like a typical drama. Woman finds out her husband's cheating, and it's just kind of this like sad sob story of how she feels and finding out who knew and who didn't. No, you guys, these people are insane. Like, I could not stop watching. Like, this is one of those things where you get into it and you just binge the whole thing because it's just wild. These are not your normal people that are like, oh, he's cheating, so sad. No, these are like, I'm gonna key his car, I'm gonna set his house on fire people. Like, crazy people. And I have to say, I have to give like really good shout out props to Bertie Carvel. He is the actor who plays Simon Foster, i.e. the husband who is cheating. And he did I hated him. I hated him so much. He did such a good job as this character that 99% of the way through, I was like screaming at the television and like just super angry at choices that he was making and things that he was doing. And it reminded me of a million years ago. There was a movie that came out with Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio when Leonardo DiCaprio was still fairly young, and Robert De Niro like played his stepdad or something. I want to say it's like the Basketball Diaries. That can't be right. But you guys are going to know. The movie nerds will know. But Robert De Niro's character was such an a-hole in that movie that I literally hated him. Like, I couldn't watch Robert De Niro movies because just looking at his face like instantly made me angry. The character of Simon Foster in this show is that guy. Like, he played this character so well that throughout the entire show, I was like, I'm never watching another thing that this actor does. Like, I'm going to hate him forever. He's such a jerk. Like, he's just a psycho. And it's so much fun to watch, like, in the context of a television series. I would never, never in my life want to be married to a man, date a man, be around a man who is as crazy as the character of Simon Foster in this television series. But both of them are nuts. Both of them are nuts. And you can kind of understand it on her side. Like, she kind of goes a little bit crazy because this is the person she's expecting to spend the rest of her life with. And so she does things that a sane woman probably would not do. But I want to say, what is it? Mafia Mama, that I did the review for that. And I was like, she walks downstairs and sees her husband cheating and she's just so calm and collected and normal. Dr. Foster was exactly what I was thinking of in my mind of how a rational person would be. You go a little nuts, guys. You just do. I really loved this series. I think that everyone did such an amazing job. The whole entire cast is just great. There are some familiar faces in this one as well. I would highly recommend checking out Dr. Foster if you guys have not seen it yet. It was so much fun. Like I said, the only thing that I was slightly disappointed on was the ending, just kind of how they decided to wrap it up. It just didn't feel, I understood it. Like, it made sense in the context of the show. Like, you're looking right and what's really going on is kind of on the left, you know, of something that you were not even necessarily paying attention to. But that's also kind of the reason why I didn't think it was such a great ending, because I wasn't paying attention to this particular character that ends up ending the show, because that's not who your focal point is the whole rest of the way. So I was expecting it to end the way that the season progressed, which was like fireworks and anger. And it ended kind of melancholy and sad, and I was not expecting that. But I will say, great show. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you guys think of Dr. Foster if you end up checking it out. Subscribe if you want to join the movie nerd family. You can find me on Instagram at Cinematic Sarcastic Podcast, and I hope to see you in the next episode.